What's going on, everyone? Welcome to the edition of the Vicktory Life Legacy Podcast. Excuse me. I'm your host and founder, Dwight Vick of Vicktory Life. And today I'm joined by my brother, longtime friend, teammate, great coach, which we're going to dive into, Coach Rodney Berry, Boo Williams EYBL team. How you doing, man?
I'm well, boss. I'm well. I'm living. I'm not sick anymore, so I'm good to go. Everything
Yeah,
is good.
man. I ran into you down when my son and Patriot were down in the
Mm-hmm.
Princess Anne tip-off, man, and you and I were chopping up at halftime, and
Mm-hmm.
we talked a little bit, and you hit me with something, and I kind of took a step back. You were telling me that, yo, I've been doing this 30 years, and I was like, oh no, I know we had talked about when I saw you this summer at the
Mm-hmm.
Jam Fest at Boo to get you on, but then I was like, oh, we gotta expedite this. I gotta make sure I get you on because I don't think people realize, which is why we got to talk about it. 30
Mm-hmm.
years coaching basketball, man.
Well, I was saying more of not 30 years coaching, but I was talking about our friendship. We've been in it together for
Oh
30
yeah, yeah,
years.
yeah, yeah. Our friendship, but still a long time
Yeah.
because our friendship is kind of like one of those things, man,
When it all started.
where it all started.
Right.
You
Absolutely.
know what I'm saying? So like you've been, so you've been around it, man. So
Mm-hmm.
I want to dive into that, man. I want to dive
Mm-hmm.
into not just our friendship and just the love I have for you and the respect and love we have
Mm-hmm.
for each other, but more importantly, you've been around this game, man. Like, you're funny. You've always been funny.
Mm-hmm. You got to be.
Yeah,
When you
you
want the
always been
best
funny.
players, you had to bring something else to the table when you want the best guy on the team.
But a lot of a lot of people don't realize, man. You and I talked a couple years ago, man. I sent you some merch. I gotta get you some new merch. I sent you some merch,
Mm-hmm.
and we had a great conversation. I was telling you to keep doing what you're doing, man. You
Mm-hmm.
helping kids stay off the street. You helping guys get scholarships. You taking kids around the country. Um, but you were a hooper. You played. You and I were
Mm-hmm.
teammates. Just
Mm-hmm.
talk about, man, like your career because people don't realize you didn't have a career like a lot of the guys you coach, but yet you've
Absolutely.
impacted so many, man. So shed some light into that, man. Like like
Mm-hmm.
where it all started and what happened with your career.
Mm-hmm. So, like you said, I'm from Hampton, Virginia. I grew up playing ball, middle school ball. I think around middle school was when I got like noticed to being like a good player in the Hampton area or in the 757 area, 804 at that time. So,
Yep.
I ended up getting to play high level AAU, traveling with Boo back when we were real young. So it was way different than what it is now. We were traveling around with Boo in a 15 passenger going up and down the East Coast. Uh, then I went on to Hampton High. Things didn't go as I expected it to go at Hampton High because I had a lineage of my older brothers played ball, all my friends played ball. So I played ball at Hampton for a while. And then it just seems like, my senior year when I got into already got accepted to college. I already knew I was going to Hampton University, and it didn't seem like basketball was going to get me there. So I stopped playing. I kind of, what I tell kids now, I kind of gave up on my dream, what I'm saying, a little too soon, I believe. So I stopped playing, and I wasn't a D1, athlete. I think I could have been, but I wasn't. I'm saying I went to Hampton. I was even going to try to walk on at Hampton with Coach Murphy was the coach. I talked to him,
Mm-hmm.
had some family talk to him. Coach Donovan Rose, that was the football coach at Hampton University, is my guy to this day. Love him to this day. So I was in a program with him at HU, and he was going to help me the walk on process and all that. But it just didn't go right. And then how life takes you through turns. I started doing the wrong thing, and then I just had to get my life back together. And God bless the dead, Butch Harper, legendary guy from from the city. Him and Mark Godwin. I know you know Mark. That's one of our
Yep.
OGs from Hampton
That's
High.
my guy.
You know, what I'm saying, they have been trying to get me in the coaching realm. And my aunt Jessie Pope, she was a coach at Bethel High School for shit. She coached at Bethel alone for like 33 years. So it kind of was in my blood already, the coaching piece of it. And I used to go to her practices and just sit there as a little kid. So I kind of was observing it already. And then once Butch and Mark came to me, it took me a little bit of time. And then I got back involved with the Hampton Hoyas, and I got the taste of it. You know what I'm saying? And it just I couldn't stop it after that.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, you've been doing a great job. You know, what's crazy, I want to go back to something because I told my son who's a
Mm-hmm.
senior up in Nova in the 703 about
Mm-hmm.
how AAU during the heyday when Boo became the godfather of it, right? It's so funny
Absolutely.
because you brought up something, you and I were AAU teammates, and we were in a van, right? And I was telling people up here, and even when I'm back home, you know,
Mm-hmm.
back in the day in the 90s when this thing started to take off, it was only like maybe 4 or 5 AAU teams in the entire state. And there was some hoopers that got cut. And we were on
Mm-hmm.
a team that featured some really great players,
Man,
man. Uh,
man.
Brett Harper, you know, who went to
Jonathan
Kickingham High
Baker,
School. Jonathan Baker played at the University of Richmond, great shooter. That team, Tavian was on that team. Tavian Garrett,
Damon Garrett,
yeah.
Nasillo Abraham,
Now
you know,
Cilio was on that
man.
team with us. I tried to get him on the football field. He wouldn't come.
And you know, their
Uh,
family has a lineage of hoopers. The Abrahams is crazy.
the Abrahams, right? So,
Mm-hmm.
but it was a crazy era because so many talented players were not able to play because now, I mean, you can go and create an AU organization. Obviously, all AAU organizations are not created the same. There's levels to this,
Absolutely.
but at the same
Mm-hmm.
time, man, like if you look at that team, that group we were part of, uh, everybody went on to have an impact
Right.
in sports, and even now, even still, like yourself,
Absolutely.
are doing great, man. Just you know, you talk about like what basketball has taught you.
Yeah,
You didn't
absolutely.
have the career you wanted, but like in a lot of ways, when we reflect on that team you and I were part of, it kind of laid the foundation for what you're doing now, man. Just talk about that
Absolutely.
mindset, what you
Mm-hmm.
learned back then, what you're applying now.
Yeah, so with me with it, because I tell a lot of guys a lot, like we're talking about now, my story was a little different because I didn't go on. Like you played with me and you end up being Virginia Tech, you know, doing all that, probably, you know, had a chance to go to the league, to the big
Yep,
show. You know what I'm
yep,
saying? My story is to the kids is like I was good and I played with a lot of really good players in my time, like a lot of good players. We just named some. But I didn't do all the things to I think to elevate my game. I didn't work on my game as hard. I probably didn't listen to coaches as much as I try to, you know, get guys to do. So I have like the flip side to it. You know what I mean? Like I wasn't that successful in my career path doing the sport that I love and I still love, but I use that still to be able to, you know what I'm saying, motivate kids to do what they're supposed to do. You know what I mean? So my story is different. Like I got guys that coach with me that played high level D1, some guys with professional and things of that nature. But then my story is, you know, I did the thing, you know, I went to college, but I didn't do the right thing in college. You know what I mean? I didn't do the right thing in high school to prepare myself to go to college, right? So I just tell the kids to look at me as an example that you can still get it done. You know what I mean? But it just took me a longer route to get it done as a man, you know, to mature, to go through my trials and tribulations, like running around, doing the wrong thing in the streets and things like that. You know, it doesn't mean that you're going to not let sports, you know what I'm saying? Like basketball, even though I didn't play Division I basketball, I've been all over the United States, outside of the United States because of basketball and things of that nature. You know, I've met some like real influential people in the game that I talk to on a regular, whether it's college ball, you know, NBA or even overseas. Like, so I tell my nephews, I tell kids that I coach, like, you can still use the sport to take you where you want to go, even if you don't become a professional athlete. You know what I mean? Like, it can take you, it can meet, you know, meet good people. I probably met you before, we met before high school. We probably were like
yeah,
11.
yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
You know what I'm saying? We were 11 years old. And I remember when we got to high school AAU, I remember it vividly like it was yesterday. Me, you, Nasillo, we all playing around, joking on a trip. We was in Indianapolis. And
yes.
I remember you were saying that you was about to go to high school. We all going to high school, but you was about to start tour days, you know what I'm saying, for football. And I asked you what that was. And you was talking about, man, we practice in the morning, we got to come back in the night. I was like, oh, no, that ain't for me. You know what I mean? So I was like, oh, no, that's not for me. But, you know, I look at it that way. Like, you could take the game, dog. I meet so many people. Like the other night, I was in DC when I was talking to you, texting. I was in a room, Damon Stoudemire. You know what I'm saying? It's like a live event that was at the Matha called the Hoop Fest. So
Yeah,
I'm chopping up
Who
with
fast?
Damon.
Yep.
Yeah, you know, Damon Stoudemire, Shaka. They chopping it up me because they know my relationship with kids, my relationship with them, relationship with Boo, things of that nature. I can look at my phone and have, you know, plenty of guys' numbers and stuff like that. So I would have never thought not playing on a high level that I still would be that influential in the game. You know what I'm saying? The game that I love and I grew up loving as a kid. So I still look at it in amazement that, you know what I'm saying, that it's happening for me.
Well, I get chills. You can't got a hoodie on. I get chills thinking about it, man, because I think you represent what I'm very proud of, man. We're from the 757, especially being from Hampton and you know, Hampton High, Newport News, the peninsula, man. Like, it's so much tragedy and childhood traumas we overcame.
Man,
But at the same time, when I take a step back, I see our little homie Marseille Brown, one of the best trainers in the
yes.
East Coast, on the East Coast. I look at Sean DeBailey, one of the best women's or men's coaches in general in the state.
Trying to
Eric,
get
so
busy.
many guys, man. I was just last night. My son and them played up against Grace Brethren, and I ran into the big OG Jermaine Golson.
I talked to
And
Jermaine
Jermaine
too,
and I
yeah.
were talking. We had a great. He took some time to talk to my son and some of his
Mm-hmm.
teammates. It's a lot more people doing what you're doing, and I'm proud of you. I tell you that every time I see you at Boo Williams or I
Absolutely.
come home on Facebook, because you didn't take care of business like you wanted to early on,
Mm-hmm.
but look at you now. Like
Mm-hmm.
look at the lives you impacted. And you and I, we were in the same streets. And I tell
Absolutely.
people all the time, man, you know, it was crazy back then, it's crazy now, but you didn't
Mm-hmm.
become a prisoner of your bad decisions, which I think is
Right.
absolutely remarkable. And we need
Mm-hmm.
more people like yourself who have overcome stuff to be teachers and
Mm-hmm.
mentors. With that being said, man, you're
I'm gonna
part
steal
of.
that too, Vic. I'm a prisoner of your own bad decision. That's a bar.
Oh, absolutely. Oh, absolutely, man. Yeah, I got a few bars.
That's a bar. I'm stealing that for
Yeah,
sure.
I
Cause
got a few
that's
bars.
real though. That's real
Yeah.
though.
Well, no, because you know everyone knows who my cousin is, but for those listening and watching this
Yeah.
for the first time, Michael Vick is my cousin, one of the most iconic athlete figures in the world. And I remember when
Well.
he was going through a situation, we were writing each other back and forth. And then when he got out, I saw him and we spent some time together. He was home in Hampton. You know, his
Mm-hmm.
mom at the time and we spent a long time, we're very close. And I told him the same thing. I said, look, don't let yourself become a prisoner of your bad decisions or past mistakes. I said,
That's
you
a
have a
bar.
legacy, you know, you're building, and a lot of people believe in you still. Don't let the narrative the media is creating do that. And
Mm-hmm.
I'm very proud of him, like I'm very proud of you, because he's now transformed himself and he does a lot of great things. Matter of fact, I just shared a video. He's doing a prison reform now through his
Mm-hmm.
V7 nonprofit. That's not
Mm-hmm.
going to be marketed because it's all about football or basketball or controversy, but yet he's changing the
Absolutely.
world in his own way. Now with you,
Absolutely.
you're playing we played for a legendary coach,
Mm-hmm.
Coach Brown. You've been around a lot of legends. I just finished interviewing Lamont Struthers and the Menchville basketball team.
Oh,
They were
where you
on
had
before.
straight up there? That's my OG.
Yeah, yeah. I told him I was gonna have you on, and he said to say, "Oh man, Barry's my guy." So we talked on his episode with him and his players about just the Peninsula District and the region that we're from,
Mm-hmm.
and just all of that. But Boo Williams is the GOAT, right?
Yeah,
He
absolutely.
changed the game of AAU. I've never asked you this question before because a lot of times it's
Mm-hmm.
like, hey, what court y'all on and who y'all
Right.
got?
Absolutely.
And what have you learned from him? I mean, I've never asked you that, man. Like, because a lot of people talk about, oh, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
you know, we got this player, we got that player, but I'm talking about
Mm-hmm.
the ins and outs of manhood and fatherhood. What have you learned,
Mm-hmm.
man?
Oh yeah, because Boo definitely. I've known Boo since I was probably like 9 or 10 years old. You know what I mean? And one of the main things I learned from her was like kind of try to be a straight shooter in what you're doing in the business, in this basketball business. Because even though you're dealing with kids and things of that nature, it's still a business because we spend a lot of money to move around. Even right now, I'm coaching 8th grade this winter. You know what I'm saying? And we move around, like, you know what I mean? So be a straight shooter, you know what I mean? Try to control what you can control, you know what I mean? Save the, it sounds crazy, but, try to save the kids that you can save. You know what I mean? Everybody may not get the message. Everybody may not understand the message that you're trying to give them. You know what I mean? Stay level headed. Like Boo keeps the main thing, the main thing. Like he's a businessman too outside of hoops. You know what I mean? And I think that's what helps him keep the sense of like level headedness, I guess. You know what I mean? Like, don't get too up, don't get too down. Like the regular stuff. Like Boo just tells you regular stuff that you hear all your life. Like it's nothing rewritten. You know what I'm saying? Like it's exactly what you hear. And he really lives his life that way. You know what I mean? Like he's seen so much like the way the game is changing right now, and I'm a younger coach. Not young, but young. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Kids
yep.
shoot 100 3-pointers a game. Your team may shoot 30 or 40 threes. And I'm going absolutely insane. Like, oh my God, drive the ball, drive the ball. He's sitting over there like, right, this is just what it is. This is basketball now. Like, they run to the three instead of running to the rim for a layup on a fast break. You know, he kind of helps. People don't think he's adjusting with the times or the way the game is played. So he helps you adjust to the times and the way the game is played too. He's up the breast. He's sharp as a nail with everything, you know, basketball wise. So he kind of tells me to make sure that I'm staying on top of my home life. You know what I mean? He's been married 30 something years. You know what I'm saying?
Amazing.
I have my lady and my daughter. So, you know, he just tells me take care of that. And then, you know, after I take care of that, come help him take care of basketball. You know what I'm saying? Like, he keeps the main thing at all times. It's like family, you know what I mean? Once you take care of your family and your mother, he's real big on taking care of your mom. You know what I'm saying? Taking care of mothers. And then after that, you go to the basketball point. So it's just like with him, he is a father figure, and he kind of like shows you how to be responsible without even really knowing it, because he's not a man of many words. So he may not sit you down in the office and be like, Rodney, you know, do this, do that, da 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 da. He just gonna show you by example. He takes care of all his business. He takes care of everything is good. When it's time for us to move, we move. Even when he doesn't travel with us, travel is still on point. Whether he has somebody doing it for us, getting it situated, everything is good. So organization, being organized, you know what I'm saying, try your best to be truthful in this game. You know what I mean? I try to be truthful with kids that I coach, with parents that I coach. Like, you know, that's one of the main things. Just be truthful to the kids and to the parents, and everything else will fall in place.
That's real. That's wise words. Um, I'm glad you learned that, and I'm glad you're speaking on that, because I think sometimes it's a misconception. It's just about basketball, but I've been around
Mm-hmm.
you and Mark and a lot of people down there when I come home, even when I run into people up in the DMV, and they say
Mm-hmm.
similar things like that. And I think that's what's lost, besides all the great talent you guys get, is that a
Mm-hmm.
lot of people are learning. Like, a lot of you guys, there's like a coaching tree, so sort of that's
Mm-hmm.
that's evolved from Boo.
Mm-hmm.
With that being said, man, a lot of people feel like, okay, well, you guys are affiliated with Nike as Boo Williams. You guys get
Mm-hmm.
some of the top players on the East Coast, many times the country. You just
Mm-hmm.
roll the balls out, man, and you guys just say
Oh,
you'll go
yeah.
hoop. Tell
No.
everybody you are coaching, because
No,
you
you are
make an
coach.
adjustment. Yeah, talk about coaching, because there's this, and we're gonna get into this in a second. It's actually a good segue after you answer this question about the AAU culture now and how it's
Mm-hmm.
different with NIL and social media. But you
Mm-hmm.
are still, I've been there. I've seen you and Mark
Yeah.
and some of you guys. You guys are coaching. Like,
No,
talk
you're
about
coach.
like what y'all do, and like not give away your secrets, but just as
Right
far
now.
as like the mindset and the
No, you're
drills and
coaching.
the skills and things y'all implement.
No, you're coaching, absolutely. A lot of times, even Boo would tell you, like, you are on higher level talent. They're coming to me already normally good. You know what I mean? So you are managing talent, managing everything, try to get everything together. But you're coaching, especially on the levels that I'm coaching at, whether it's EYBL or main hoops. It's like one year I was still coaching with the Hampton Hoys. I look down, I'm coaching against Doug West, an NBA vet, 13, 14-year vet. This is when I first started coaching AAU basketball. So we beat him at the end of the game. I asked him for a picture. You know what I'm saying? Like, he did it too. He gave me the picture. You know what I'm saying? He's not that much older than us. You know what I'm saying? So he gave me some words or whatever. And he said he liked what I was doing. And I was coaching a non-sponsor team at the time. You know what I mean? So you're definitely coaching. You try to get the guys in the gym. Like, I learn from a lot of people. I go see, Hampton University practice. I go to Norfolk State, Robert Jones, Buck Jordan. I want to say who those guys are, because they're excellent coaches in the area. I pick up and I steal from them. I steal drills. But you definitely have to coach, because even in May hoops, a lot of the coaches that are coaching 8th grade level are the 17U coaches. And a lot of those 17U coaches or college coaches, NBA players, high major Division I players, Division II players, Division III players. So it's a lot of game plan going into it. And then even with good players, you can't just roll the ball out, because they don't know where to do. They don't know exactly what to do besides dribble and try to get a bucket. They don't know where to be at on defense, what position to be in, to do this. They don't know those things. Like, people think they're just going to know it. They don't know. Like, even running a 2-3 zone, which you've been doing since you were 8, some
Yep.
people still don't know certain things about that back line and what you're doing here and what you're doing there. So you're always constantly teaching. Um, you're always constantly coaching. I lose my voice probably midway through the first half of a game, because it's like I learned from Ivan Thomas. He's the associated head coach at Georgetown right now. That's who I was with when I was coaching high school, kicker tag. You try not to coach every possession because you're gonna kill yourself and you won't have a voice. But you're coaching a lot, like here, there, you're instructing on the floor. Like, so if you're not doing that, it's kind of like it's a disservice to the kids. You know what I'm saying? If you're not putting in, I look at this thing called Championship Series. It's like a DVD series, but now it's on on our phones and stuff now. But it's teaching you more stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like, man, I tell you, dog, I steal from everybody, dog, that I think is a good coach. Whether it's Coach K, you know what I'm saying? Whether it's, like I said, Coach Thomas, Coach Cooley, from Eric Brown at Hampton High, Steph Welsh in Newport News. These dudes, Brian Graves, he's one of my young OGs. I call him young OG because he's been coaching longer than me, but he's great at it. You know what I'm saying? Great, you know what I'm saying? An excellent young coach. You know what I mean? So you have to coach these kids, dog. Like, or you're going to lose, and it's going to look bad. You know what I mean?
No doubt.
Parents are entrusting you to teach their child how to play, in a sense. Like, you're not teaching them all the fundamentals, but you're teaching them the quote unquote, right way to play, sharing the ball, playing defense. So now you're coaching and game planning a lot. You know what I'm saying? We're on the road with 17Us, dog. We're in meetings nonstop about position meetings with the point guards, the bigs. Then it's a meeting with just the coaching staff to go over scout. You know what I'm saying? Like, you got to, these kids are already learning how to be on somebody's scouting board at 14 years old. You know what I'm saying? Like, we played a game 2 weeks ago, and I could tell the team scouted us, you know what I mean? Because one of my guys, they were all over him. Every time he touched it, it was like two people, like one guarding him and one is ready to guard him. You know what I mean? Like, so, like, you got to be prepared. You have to. So that's notion is bull. You know what I'm saying?
And I wanted you to do that. I purposely asked that question because a lot of it I knew from just talking to you and other people about, like, when you're on the road, there's coaching meetings, there's film review. You guys are doing scouting report. You guys are missing a lot. Like, I remember when he used to coach with Boo, he was like, man, I got home at 11 o'clock, man. I ain't seen no game. How he talk. He was like, man, I've been grinding. I've been running and driving. And I'm like, man, this is back in the day, man. But let me ask you this, Rodney. AAU on Twitter, because you and I both be on there, and even on Facebook, really social media, even on radio shows and podcasts like this, it's I've seen the benefit more so than the negative. I've been around the game a long time. I've seen the benefit, but I will admit that it has become a different game with guys moving back and forth. You've had coaches embezzle money. You got people getting bad advice. Coaches with a hidden agenda, daddy ball, which has always been around. How do you stay locked in? This is a two-part question. How do you stay locked in and doing your thing and staying true to your values? And then also along with that, what are some of the negatives that are true about AAU? Because I know, like, every day, especially, once the high school season's over, you hear people say, oh, AAU, or what do you expect? It's AAU, or AAU coaches always trying to interfere with the high school season. You're not one of those guys that's mentioned with that negative, but, like, how do you stay locked in on what you do, your vision and mission statement for your team? And how do you feel about some of the negatives that are around the game that makes it saturated with ignorance?
Yeah, so I think a lot of it with me, it makes it easy because I'm with Boo. And this is going to be his 42nd year. So he makes it, it's still, you know what I mean? It's not about all the it is about glitz and glamour, but it's not all about that. And being with him, he keeps you grounded because it's a lot of old school stuff with Boo. Like, you know what I mean? Like, doing stuff with him, we do things the old way. We go out of town, the check-in in the hotel, we paying for it with a check. You know what I mean? Like, you know what I'm saying? It's not a credit card. I'm dropping a check off to pay for our hotel rooms and stuff. So I think with me, I just think, like, not trying to lie, like, not lying and not like telling people incorrect information. You know what I mean? Like, I try to, I don't get paid to coach AAU basketball or, none of the things. I may work some camps, you know what I mean? I may get paid for that. I may get positioned to do that because of what I'm doing with AAU and things like that. You may get invited to do certain things, but so it's like, I don't really think it's a purpose, like, to really lie because they're kids. So if you're lying to them about certain things, it's going to catch up to them or it's going to catch up to you, you know what I'm saying, that you're giving them misinformation. So I just want my name to stay kind of, clear of that. You know what I mean? Like, because it's how can you entrust with me? You know what I'm saying? Your child, I'm about to take them on the road. Some parents can't travel. You know what I'm saying? You and your wife, y'all probably fortunate enough. You're able enough to move around with your kids. You have a daughter. She plays volleyball, right?
She did. She's a sophomore at ODU, and my youngest
She's in
daughter.
college now, right?
Yeah, she's in
But
college.
when
She's
she
sophomore
was
at
in
ODU.
high school, she was in high school and playing sports. Then Isaiah, he was coming up. He was younger.
He's 2 years
So
younger.
you guys had the means to move around. Some parents can't.
Yeah.
So I had a kid that went with me on his first trip ever 2 years ago. He went with me to Atlanta, and then we went to Peace Jam right after that. Like he had never left the 757. You know what I'm saying? Like, so those parents are trusting me to do this. You know what I'm saying? And to keep them safe and to let them have fun, because we have fun. And I tell the kids all the time, I went on trips with Boo. We had tons of fun, but we handled business first and then have fun. You know what I'm saying? So it's just, I got a lot on my shoulders with, being a Black guy. And most of the kids that I coach are Black. I have, other races that I coach too, but I have predominantly, my teams are normally a lot of Black kids. So I try to kind of like, most of them don't need me to be a father, you know what I mean? But if they need me to help in that role or be a big, I'm not even going to say big brother, because I'm not, you know what I'm saying? Because that kind of gets kind of great. That kind of gets kind of great. The brother and little bro thing. Like, no, I'm your coach. You know what I'm saying? And so I kind of try to stick to my truths on it, and it just try to help. You know what I mean? Like, I'm just trying to help, dog. I did it from the mud in AAU. If I coached Hampton Hoyas, completely no sponsorship, no money, no nothing.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Most of the kids that were on that team couldn't give money. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
You know what I mean? So I'm getting money from friends. I'm getting money from my job, sponsorships and things of that nature. So I think people see it in me, and then they see that I'm kind of like, and then my aunt, like I said, she coached for 30 years, and I seen her teach. She was a teacher and a coach, you know what I'm saying? So I think that was kind of instilled in me. And then, trying to stay from the bad stuff with AAU,
Hold
because
on,
it
before you get
is.
to the bad, before you get to the bad stuff, y'all shout her out, man. Make sure we know her name and everything. Shout
Oh,
her out.
Jessie Pope. Jessie
Yep.
Pope. She coached at Bethel for 33 years, I want to say. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
She started pretty much girls basketball there. She was at Hampton Institute, what it was HU, what it was
When it was
Hampton
HI.
Institute.
Yeah.
Yeah, so like she really put the coaching bug in me, because like I said, I was at elementary school. My mother working 2 jobs. That's her sister. So my mom's working 2 jobs. She's running around. I'm, living in the projects. She's coming picking me up from school, taking me back to Bethel with her. I'm 5th, 6th grade doing homework. And I'm just watching her coach and teach basketball. And she was stern. You know what I'm saying? Like a stern coach. Like anybody who sees this that's from our era, they will know that Jessie Pope did not play. You know what I'm saying?
Doubt.
So I think that her and then Boo, that older, like I'm gonna probably pass it on to younger coaches that I'm bringing it to the game. Just being real. Like I got guys that's in the league, you know what I'm saying? I don't want to ask you for nothing, you know what I'm saying? But game tickets, I am going to ask for a game ticket, and I am going to ask for a jersey, you know what I'm saying? But I don't want your money, you know what I'm saying? Like, but I am going to ask for game tickets and a jersey, you know what I'm saying?
No
But
doubt.
I gotta have that, you know what I'm saying? Like, gotta have that.
Yeah. But you were starting to say before I had you shout out your aunt,
Uh,
the negative side, man. AAU is crazy, man. I've seen kids get caught up, man. I've seen kids get caught up with lies, get manipulated, parents, buying to the hype, fake offers, embezzlement. I mean, you can't address it
money.
all. And it's
Yeah.
but how does the negative side of AAU, who loses the most? The kids, the AAU culture, and the kids. And what is some of the negative, the uglies? You don't have to name organizations or name, but what's some of the dark side you've seen of it, man? What's some of the negatives you've seen?
Shoot, man, the ugly side. I mean, you see, like you touch some of it, like the fake offers, getting these kids thinking they're getting these offers, and then they become a junior, they can't commit nowhere. I tell the kid like, yo, you got an offer from this place to this place. Tell them you want to come. Tell them you want to commit tomorrow. See what they say. Watch them start. Watch them start backpedaling out of that and telling you that you got to wait for this. We got to do this. We got to check this out first. Yep. You know what I mean? The money part makes it real ugly. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just sad because some people don't have the money. And even if you have the money, you don't want to just throw your money away. So, you know what I mean? Like, some people spending like so many dollars to move around and do these things, and the team's not even good enough. You know what I mean? Like, if I was coaching a team that wasn't good enough, we're not moving around. I'm not getting all this money from parents to move around, and we're not good enough. We're going to play here. We're going to go to Richmond. We may go to DC. You know what I'm saying? That's what I was doing with the Hoyas. We went from North Carolina to DC. You know what I'm
Yep.
saying? The furthest, because we could get there in 3 hours. You know what I'm saying? DC, 3 hours. We go to Raleigh, Durham area, 3.5 hours. You know what I'm saying? Richmond, right
Yeah.
up the block. I used to,
Yeah.
my whole goal was it because I came from one of them homes where my moms couldn't do it. But I did have my older brothers and sisters and my aunts and stuff like that. But me going directly to my mother wasn't an option to ask her to pay $400-$500 to do XYZ. So I kind of keep that in the back of my head and I try to keep the money portion down. Even when I was coaching non-sponsored, fundraising, you know what I'm saying, doing things like that. But it just gets tricky. And then dealing with Boo, when you fundraise, you have to turn all that money into the accountant, and then the money comes back and it gets paid, everything gets paid for. It's
Yes.
against the law. I don't even know if people know, it's against the law for me to coach AAU basketball, right? And take money in from my parents and put it in my personal business, my own personal account. That's against the law.
I know people don't know that. That's why I got you
That's
on, my
against the
guy. That's why I got
law.
you on.
Boo would tell you straight up and down. People went to jail behind this, Rodney. People went to
Yep.
jail behind this. This is against the law. You know
Yes,
what I'm
it
saying?
is.
So it's just certain things that because I learned from older people. You know what I'm saying? Mark Godwin he still runs the Hampton Hoyas. That's one of my OGs. I love him. You know what I'm saying? He brought me into it. You know what I'm saying? Him and one of my OGs, Coach Chiz. You know what I'm saying? They told me the ropes of this. Don't let these parents beat you up. You know what I'm saying? Not physically, but mentally beat you up, being on top of you about certain things. Take a break, you know what I'm saying, after a good win or at the loss. I talk to parents the next day or two. You know what I'm saying? Everybody's emotional. I don't even like
Right.
the handshake line for real. You know what
I
I'm
wish they
saying?
get rid of it. I wish they get rid of it.
I don't even like the
That's
handshake
just
line
me.
because it's emotional time.
It's too emotional.
It's
It's
way too
dangerous.
emotional. It is like because like we just came off this game. We done lost by 2. It might have been fiery before the game, during the game, the kids are going at it. You know what I'm saying? Like I like sportsmanship, you know what I mean? But if the kids can't get it together, we just shouldn't do it. You know what I'm saying? At certain times. So the biggest ugly part to me with high school AAU is fake offers and the money. You know what I'm saying? Like not doing the right thing with the money or not having, if I say we're gonna burn 10 grand for our season, I'm gonna know why we spending 10 grand, and my parents gonna know why we spent 10 grand. You know
Absolutely.
what I'm saying? Before I was coaching sponsored teams, you know what I'm saying? This is what we're paying for X, Y, Z, 1, 2, 3, and we gotta pay for our own uniforms. We want to be fly. We got to get team shoes, shooter shirts. We want to do everything that the other teams are doing, but it's gonna cost us money. And I'm gonna bring my own money into it too. Like I don't just ask. I'm dropping money. Even with this year's group, we're sponsored, but we want to go to this tournament in Miami in June called Balling on the Beach, a big one. We're not gonna pay for all of that. You know what I'm saying? So I'm already talking to parents like, look, January we need to start put some money in the kitty so we can be ready to go. You know what I mean? And get it going. So I just think fake offers and the misplacement or the mishandling of the funds in AAU basketball gets tricky because people go to jail behind that. You know what I'm
Yep.
saying? I don't think people really know that. You would go to jail. If parents and everybody starts complaining about money missing, you don't know where the money's going, and like Boo has an accountant or whatever. You got AAU money in your personal account. You can go to jail, dog. So I ain't going to jail for something that I do free.
Facts. I'm with
So
you. That's a fact. Rodney, I do want to ask you this question, man. Well,
mm-hmm.
this is more touch on the point because you actually, I take notes as my speakers talk, and I love listening to this insight because you also brought up a very valuable point. You talked about the fact that, you were coaching back in the day with the Hampton Hoyas, and you've known Boo since you were a youngin, and the team you and I were on that featured some future stars, right? But some legendary stars, right? But what's crazy is our brother Lee passed away.
Yeah.
And then you have some guys like myself. I played both sports in high school, but basketball is my favorite sport, but my body said you got to marry football. I went to
Mm-hmm.
football. Jonathan and went to basketball. You went into coaching. Narcilio played. Mason, then he transferred. But what
Now
I'm
his
saying
sons are
is,
good.
what's that?
His kids are good now.
Yeah, yeah. But what's
Mm-hmm.
crazy is I was talking to Fazel Abraham,
Mm-hmm.
Taj and them big brother. Yeah, right. And I remember Isaiah Abraham is the same year as my son Isaiah Vick, and we're up here in the Northern Virginia DMV area. And when they were in seventh grade, Fazel was like, before he went to play with Takeover. This was a long time ago. And Fonzie was like,
Mm-hmm.
Vic, man, this team, I wish I brought him to yours because yours is more about development. He's in
Mm-hmm.
seventh grade. Right now, he needs to be hooping, man. Like they're trying to go to Vegas, this, that, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And what's crazy is, and you've seen this, you've been doing this a long time. Isn't it tough for some of the parents to understand, like at that middle school stage? Yes, you have a couple of phenoms here and there, but we use that word "go" too loosely. Some of these kids are going to play basketball, but maybe by their sophomore year in high school, they're going to go do track or do baseball. Is
Mm-hmm.
it is isn't it hard to say that at middle school this
Mm-hmm.
kid is going to be here just because they're playing on your circuit at that time? Is
Right.
that something you see some of the confusion and misconceptions
Yeah.
with parents thinking that, oh, well, he scored 20 and he's averaging 15 in sixth and seventh grade? That doesn't
Yeah.
always equate that at at Phoebus or at Ocean Lakes or whatever high
Mm-hmm.
school, he's going to be a
Right.
phenom or she's going to be a phenom. Is that
Absolutely.
correct to say?
That's absolutely correct to say.
Okay.
Because even with the middle school level, like I think they take it too far into like the rankings of it. You know what I'm saying? I think people look too deep into ranking middle school kids because I mean you're a big guy. So Isaiah ended up being 6'6", right?
6'7", yeah.
6'7".
Yeah.
So what if though Isaiah ended up being when he was in sixth grade, he was already 6'2" or whatever, which he probably was. It stopped growing. So
Yeah.
in sixth grade, he probably would have been a giant. You know what I'm saying? At 6'2", you know what I'm saying? 6'2", 6'3", and then he stops growing. Now he's the number one sixth grader in the country because he's 6'2", and he may be dunking already. And then that kid goes up to eighth grade. Now it's, reclassification happens. The other kids catch up to them, things of that nature. So I just think the middle school stuff, I think we look too deep into like ranking middle school kids. And I think people start seeing, dollar signs and stuff like that. So when I'm talking about money for kids, I'm talking about free college. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yes.
that's the free money we're talking about. I'm not talking about pros and stuff like that. When we talk about getting money, you might even see me talking to my kids about it. We're talking about getting a scholarship. I'm not talking about getting, the NBA or the NFL check. I'm talking about getting your free education. And not saying college is the route for everyone, but that's what I know. You know what I'm saying? Like I know you can use basketball or football or baseball, whatever the case may be, and make life easier for yourself. Whether
Yeah.
you make it professionally or not. I know kids that's what's it called? Grad assistants, and then boom. I know a kid, I'm gonna name him. This kid named Chase Coleman. He's at UVA. He went to UVA.
Yeah.
He played at Maury, was great at Maury, played AAU for us. He went to UVA. He had other offers like what's it called? Ivy League offers, other school offers, D2, Ivy League. He went to UVA, learned under Tony Bennett. I just went, my daughter cheers for Maury. I just went to the state game. I bumped into him at Charlottesville. Now he's on the coaching staff. You know what I'm saying? They was going to try to get him to do a fifth year to be a player still, to be a point guard. He earned a scholarship. He walked on, earned a scholarship. About to graduate from UVA, which is going to be a great degree. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
He's going to coach at UVA under Tony Bennett, whose father was a legend. Now Tony Bennett, he's going to be a legend when he's done. He won a state, he won a
National
national
championship.
title. You know what I'm saying? He's going to be a legend, so he's learning under that. You know what I mean? And Chase was already a coach as a player. You know what I'm saying? So it's so many ways that the game can take you, dog. So it's like, you don't got to look at it for NBA, NFL. You know what I'm saying? You could just look at it. You could be comfortable with life. You know what I'm saying?
That's a bar. That's a bar, Rodney, because I'm so glad because it means a lot coming from you. I think in having three kids and seeing what I've
Mm-hmm.
seen in my 40s now, I'm successful, even though sometimes and many times it's a struggle, but overall my life is in a good place because I put myself in position mentally, physically, and spiritually to
Mm-hmm.
leave home, travel, get a great degree in education. And even when my career ended in football, the next chapter began. And I look around, that's why I talked about you and Shonda and so
Mm-hmm.
many people doing so many great things.
James coaches with Shonda.
Yes, James, our teammate, my boy.
Right,
Right. So
exactly.
what I'm saying is like basketball, football, whatever sport, yes, you want to get to the highest level, but college can open doors for you or even getting in a position, like you mentioned, my
Mm-hmm.
man at UVA, where you look what he's doing now. I mean, that's pretty remarkable, man, to be in that position.
Mm-hmm.
I was just I just interviewed Jason Wade, who played
That's
at
my guy. I recruited Jason Wade to play for us.
yes, I know. That's why I'm bringing
Oh,
his
okay.
name up.
Yeah.
Jason Wade's been on this podcast twice. He was part of my basketball series, my five-parter. And he's
Mm-hmm.
at ODU. He's overcoming some injuries. He just was on last week, so make sure if you guys know him, check him out.
I'm
He's
gonna
on
shout
there.
him out.
And he was talking about, Vic, man, this is probably I may or may not. He has an extra year, but he was like, I'm already getting ready to be a GA, thinking about doing all of that. And I'm like, wow, so you really want to do it? Because he and Corey Alexander trained my son for a few sessions down in the 804. And he said
Corey,
being
one of
around
my
Corey,
guys too.
yeah, he said being around Corey really helped him, think about that next chapter. And I was like, I was amazed by that because so many guys focus on the league where it's great to get in the G League and overseas, and if that's your goal, but have a transitional plan. I think you're living proof of
Mm-hmm.
that, and you're helping guys realize that. With that
Mm-hmm.
being said, you have put, I follow you on every social media platform, and I see
Mm-hmm.
you on all these different platforms shouting out all these high profile
Mm-hmm.
players in the NBA, overseas, D1,
Mm-hmm.
D2. But at the same time, just for our listeners and the guys watching, women watching, the parents watching, when this
Mm-hmm.
runs, um,
Mm-hmm.
don't get it twisted. A Duke and Kentucky offer is amazing, but
Amazing.
you have put some guys who are doing great or have done great at Norfolk State, at
Absolutely.
ODU. No, but just no,
Yeah.
no, no. I want you to talk about that because there's this misconception with this generation because of social media that,
Mm-hmm.
I want that Power Five, but
Mm-hmm.
going to Mason or going to an HBCU
Mm-hmm.
is still going to the next level. Can you just speak about
Absolutely.
that part?
Yes. Dog,
Because
it's so crazy that you bring that up because I was just telling somebody like I know a lot of D2 coaches and stuff, but I said I need to know more. It's more D2 players than it is D1 players. You know what I'm saying? It's just real. Like it's more D2 guys than it is D1 guys in the state. It just is. There's more guys that's not going to make it there, but the MEACs and the CAA, those are great conferences. People go to the NBA from there, the NFL from there. So, like right now, Hampton, I got a couple of guys over there. Kyrie Mullen, he's probably averaging a double-double. You know what I'm saying? He played in the program. He's a Norfolk kid. He left the area, went to Massanutten. He played on the post-grad team, but he was a high school student playing on the post-grad team. He's at Hampton, killing it right now. Like I said, and he's an undersized big kid. He's probably 6'6", 6'7", and going for a double-double at like the 5. Small ball 5, and he plays the 4. Yeah, big kid. He lost a lot of weight. Now he's chiseled up. I seen him at homecoming, hugged him. You know what I'm saying? Like, I just love it. You know what I'm saying? Like, Norfolk State, one of my guys that played directly for me there too, Jaylani Darden. He just transferred there from Longwood. You know what I'm saying? He stepped right in. You know what I'm saying? He's getting good minutes over there, playing extremely well. Man, this kid that just graduated from Norfolk State, he's like Mr. HBCU. He played in our program from a long time through. Then he left towards the end. But Joe Bryant, I'm sure y'all heard of Joe Bryant. He was MEAC
yeah,
Player of the Year 2 years in a row.
3 years
You know
in
what
a
I'm
row.
saying? You know what I'm saying? Like from Norfolk. You know what I'm saying? Right there from the town. Went over to the MEAC, got busy over that joint. It's a couple of other kids. Nazea is over there right now. He's from Oscar Smith. He played in our program for a long time. You know what I'm saying? Like he's over there playing now. I think this is his last year, but he's playing, getting good minutes, starting. You know what I'm saying? The kid from Richmond area, Daryl Anderson, is at Norfolk State, like 6'7" shooter. People probably thought Daryl wasn't going to play Division I basketball at all. And now he's one of the better shooters in the whole conference over there. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Wow.
you just got to be successful in your role and what you're doing. You know what I'm saying? Like, so it's so many guys, though, I can name, you know what I'm saying, that's at lower level schools. Because most of them, the bigger level schools get celebrated more, like you said, but there's tons of them that don't make it there, but do go D2 or go lower level and then transfer up, you know what I'm saying, and things of that nature. Look at Jason Wade. Jason Wade was at LC Bird with your guy, with Troy. I know you
Yeah,
know
Troy
him
Mann, yeah,
personally.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Jay Wade, oh
And
no,
then he
he
went
didn't
to
go there.
yeah, I'm about to say he went to Trinity.
I used to
Yeah.
go up there a lot to see them play against Troy. You know what I'm
Yep.
saying? Because that was a big game. LC Bird was really popping back then. So Jay Wade is at ODU. His father played at ODU. It's a lineage there. You know what I mean? So he was a great player in high school, going to Old Dominion, which is mid-level talent to me too, you know what I'm saying, which is a good school. Man, it's so many different opportunities, dog. Like, shoot, football, it's a million kids out here to play football. You know what
Oh
I'm
yeah.
saying? You're probably more doing that than I am, but
But no,
they
I mean
all don't
I'm
make it to
into.
Alabama.
I love it. I'm into them both, and I'm so glad. That's a great segue into my next question because
Mm-hmm.
of my role with so many students and primarily student athletes up here, but even back home over the last 25 years, I worked with and talked to, including my cousin when I was recruiting him to Tech and just helping him through it, figure it out because
Mm-hmm.
he was overshadowed by Ronald Curry, but there were a lot of people on him, Syracuse and other schools. And then,
Mm-hmm.
even like my guy, Greg Stroman, who's with the Chicago Bears, and Tim Settle, who was heavily recruited and going to Tech. But I don't always get involved, but I will say this, and this is kind of the segue I want to get into. I
Mm-hmm.
do sometimes get feedback because they'll ask me, and you have been in a very prime position because you've been around Roy
Mm-hmm.
Williams, Coach K, and some of
Absolutely.
my man that's the head coach at Norfolk State now, and all these different guys. You've been
Mm-hmm.
around all these coaches.
Mm-hmm.
Do you ever talk to a kid, maybe even not even a high major kid, maybe a mid major, and he's got maybe 5 to 6 Division I mid-major offers, but he's kind of overwhelmed by it. Or a young lady, because y'all got a great female program too.
Absolutely.
Do you ever get involved from this standpoint? Because I know you don't get involved about selfishness reasons, but do you ever
Mm-hmm.
get involved and say, "Hey, look, man, come here, let me talk to you." Fictional name, Jeremiah. Jeremiah, let me talk to you. Look, man, I'm gonna keep it real with you. I know you like this school, but they got 3 shooting guards they bringing
Right.
in. Do you ever say, you do what you need to do? Because everybody that you guys get, it ain't the
Mm-hmm.
Cosby's. Ain't no mom and dad.
Right.
Sometimes, you got a grandmother and she on dialysis and she just,
Mm-hmm.
she just happy her grandson is hooping.
Absolutely.
So you and Mark and y'all got to sometimes step in. Do you step in
Mm-hmm.
a role and say, listen, they like you a lot, but this school over here, they might be better for you. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
that's a kind of a tough role, but do you ever step in
Mm-hmm.
sometimes, the kid needs some advice?
It's a real tough road, dog. That is a
I
slippery
know, I
slope.
know.
It is. But I do, like, I just, to be honest with you, that's a great question too. You're making me think because I just really started doing that. Like, before we kind of took the back seat to that because we've had, Boo been doing it so long.
Yeah.
He's had that go wrong too, where he's kind of trying to help people go to certain places, and then if it doesn't go right, you get the blame for it or whatever the
Yep.
case may be. But I do kind of like, because a lot of times these days now, a lot of parents do come to you. It's a lot of single mothers out here trying to make it happen on their own.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying, with their kids. They got, athletes as kids, student athletes or whatever. So if I think I have a good situation, whether it's them trying to find a prep school to go to kind of get to the next level that they're trying to get to, I will, what I'm saying? Like, look, I know you got XYZ going on, but you should also look at 1, 2, 3. Don't put it all, what I'm saying,
There you
in
go.
one, what I'm saying? But I do, what I mean? It's a real slippery slope with that. But I think you have to have life is tough, you know what I'm saying? And you got to have tough conversations. So that's just a tough conversation that you have to have, like, especially if I can help you from making a bad mistake. You know what I'm saying? So I'll jump in and be, I won't say don't do that. You know what I mean? But I
Nah,
will
nah,
say,
nah, nah.
I will say, like, you may want to make sure that you're, talk to them. I had a parent, what I'm saying, I was from the 804. You know what I'm saying? She was like, we're about to go on a official visit, this and that. What's some stuff that I should ask? You know what I'm saying? The coaches. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, man, so I was with another one of my guys that coaches with me. We end up running out a whole laundry list of like 10 questions. That wasn't too intrusive, but it's your child. You know what I'm saying? So you can ask these questions, you know what I mean? Like, just to give a list of questions that you want to go into a conversation and you can get a feel of what they feel about you and your child, you know what I mean? Because both of y'all going there. You know what I'm saying? Like, when your child even with your kids, when they make the decision to go to college, you're going to that school too. You know
Yep.
what I'm saying? So,
Yeah.
I give questions to them like, yo, you should ask them this, ask them some stuff outside of basketball, ask them some stuff about like when the ball stops bouncing. If they're still at that school and the coaches are still there, are they going to help you transition into life? You know what I mean? Just different questions like that, dog. And, financial literacy for some of the kids that are going to make it big. Some of them that I touch do make it big. You know what I mean? You
Yeah.
know, some of them do. So some of them have two home parents, and some of them that make it big don't. You know what I mean? So
Don't you got a youngin that's playing for the Brooklyn Nets?
yeah, he just had 41 last night.
So
Cam
I
Thomas.
know. Yeah, Cam Thomas, your guy. Baller.
Like that's my guy. That's
It's
like
your
my
guy.
guy.
I know. You know. Yeah,
You know
baller.
what I'm saying? That's one of my
Yeah.
guys. Like I got involved with him probably his 8th grade year. He came to the program, and then when he became a 9th grader, I was coaching 16U. So he moved up to play 16. He didn't go to 15s. He came straight to 16s. And then as a sophomore, he played 17s 2 years in a row, junior and senior year or whatever. So yeah, that's my guy. Like I'm about to go. I'm coming to DC on to see him play or whatever. And
Yeah.
yeah, I talked to his moms. I talked to Leslie a lot. You know what I mean? Like she's good people's. You know what I'm saying? Cam was a great kid. You know, Keldon was a kid that I got, you know what I'm saying, involved with when he got to the program. I had just really started being like really intricate in the program. So
Mhm.
Keldon was a guy, you know what I mean? Mark Williams, that's at
Mark
Charlotte.
Williams, that was that dude.
Yeah, you know
Now
what I'm saying?
you
He's a
always
deep
shouted
kid.
him out. I'm glad you. Great job segue into my question because I
Mm-hmm.
wanted to know if you have favorites because you would shout out Mark Williams, say, "Hey, listen, here's the disclaimer. I'm shouting out my guy Mark, not the rest of you Dukies."
Not the rest of you Duke. This is Mark shout out. It's not a Duke shout out. This is my,
Because
and I always
you
say,
you a Carolina guy, right?
absolutely,
Yeah,
absolutely, till I
yeah,
die. You know what I'm saying? Till I
yeah.
die. So Mark, I love Mark though. Mark was a good guy. I could call Mark right now. You know what I'm saying? He's gonna answer the phone. FaceTime. If I FaceTime and he can't answer, he'll text me, Coach. You know what I'm saying? Like these dudes are real, you know what I'm saying? Like real genuine dudes. Like we was in Charlotte last year doing some time. I hit him up for tickets. You know what I'm saying? He hit me right back. Coach,
yep,
but I ain't playing though, but I could get you some tickets. I was like, I ain't going. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm
yeah,
coming to see the
yeah.
Charlotte Hornets play, but I'm coming to see you. You know what I'm saying? He was like, you don't want to go no more? I was like, no. You know what I'm saying? I chop it up with you after the game. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah.
Keldon is another one. That's a good guy. That's another kid in Charlotte. JT Thor played in our program. He went to Auburn. And he's one of my guys that hits me up. JT hits me on all my birthdays, you know what I'm saying, holidays.
Nice,
You know what I'm saying? I talked to
nice.
Cam on all of them. Like some of them are like, you know, they just, you know what I'm saying? If you touch them the right way and impact them the right way, dog, they gonna love you for life. You know who
No
told me
doubt.
that? Um, legendary coach. I love him to death. Every time I see him, dog, I would have never thought he'd remember me, dog. Leonard Hamilton from Florida
Wow,
State.
FSU, Brennan
Every
Hamilton.
single time I see him, like on during the live periods, you know about live periods. You're a
Yeah,
basketball
yeah.
dad now. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? So
Yeah.
every time I see him, dog, he chops it up with me, dog. And he told me when I met him when I first got involved with Nike, I met him and he was like him and Tubby Smith. They were like talking together, and I just interjected, and I was like, "Yo, I gotta talk to y'all." I said, "We were at the sports place. I got both of my favorite guys together right now. You know what I'm saying? Black dudes that's been doing it for a long time. That's really impacting the world." And they told
Mm-hmm.
me, they was like, Coach, what you're doing for these kids coaching AAU basketball, da 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 da. They said them kids gonna remember you more than they're gonna remember their college coach. They're gonna love you more than that.
Absolutely, they are. I see them interact with you. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's that's what I love about what you're doing and what you have done and what you continue to do.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Mm-hmm.
so when you talk about like, your role is all these guys that lives you touch and how they continue to hit you up and text and call and look out for you with the tickets. And you talk about Leonard Hamilton and some of the coaches you've met and how you
Mm-hmm.
steal from other programs and coaches, as you coach on all levels with AAU. I don't need names, but have you ever met
Mm-hmm.
somebody, a coach, maybe he coaches or she doesn't coach anymore, and you like, man, I always thought he or she was cool, and they like, yo, like,
Mm-hmm.
because I hear high school coaches talk, high school and even you guys are kind of like a fraternity where
Mm, absolutely.
after the season, y'all, during the season, y'all compete, y'all going
Yeah.
at, but then when y'all at these coaching clinics or these things, you having a drink together, for some people, it's just sitting down, chopping it up. You ever
Mm-hmm.
say, man, this coach, I will never send a player to his program or her program?
Absolutely.
Or is this coach, I
Absolutely.
thought he or she was looking out, man, dude yeah, what's up with that dude? Never again. Or, you know what, I always thought my man was an asshole, but man, this guy's really a nice guy. Has that ever happened? Either one. I mean, that happened a lot. You said
Both.
absolutely.
Absolutely. Both. Like I've met guys, dog, and it's like, we get a stigma from being black and young. You know what I'm saying? They always know we can relate, we're relatable to the kids. So the first thing you got to get over that part to let them know that you can coach. You can coach the game and you don't just recruit. You know what I mean? So that's a stigma I think coaches go through, black coaches go through. And then like you got to realize like they're in it. Some of the college coaches, they're in it to get the kids from you because they're getting paid to coach basketball. So you got to understand the relationship with them and what it is. Like, you know what I mean? So I kind of take it with a grain of salt with it, but definitely it's been guys that I'm like, damn, I thought he was cool. And now I don't hear from him no more because such and such chose a different school. You know what I'm saying? Or some dudes still hit me up. You know what I'm saying? Oh man, your man chose such and such, dog, but they know I keep them in the stable, so they're gonna stay in contact with me regardless. That's when you're really doing your job.
Yeah.
Because coaches, college coaches, they lose out on kids all the time. Like,
all the time.
You know what I'm saying? But you got to keep the relationship going because you never know what we can do for each other in the future. You know what I'm saying? So I met dudes that I thought was jerks, end up being cool. And then it's just like sometimes with these kids, dog, like it's like you got to be a jerk slightly, or they're just going to run over top of you. The parents going to run over top of you. So you got to kind of be stern. You know what I'm saying? All this player coach, he's a player's coach. His guys love him. Yeah. Love me when I'm coaching you hard too, because that's when I'm showing you the most love. You know what I'm saying? So it's definitely like a thin line. That happens all the time, though. Because during the live periods, you go to the bar, you with the coaches and all that. That's when they let their hair hang down.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They really talk to you, you know what I'm saying, a little bit more detailed about certain things. And it's crazy. It's funny, you know what I'm saying? Like going to Peace Jam for the first time a few years back, like when I first started coaching, it's been a long time actually, but going for the first time, and then there's certain spots like in the city that all the college coaches would be at. You know what I'm saying? So we'll go there and kick it with the college coaches, and then you're like, oh wow, they all like dudes, like they the same as us. You know what I'm saying? So they having a good time, but they still want to talk about hoops. You know what I'm saying, and stuff like that. So some of you meet. And I got personal relationships with certain coaches. You know what I'm saying, that I really, really talk to because, like when I was coaching at Kickerton, Ivan was the coach there. He gave me a job, coaching JV, and I had never coached a day in my life besides the Hampton Hoyas. You know what I'm saying? He gave me the JV job, told me, yo, show the boys, make sure the boys know how to play man-to-man defense. And we had this officer play 5. Make sure they know 5 and make sure they know how to play man. And I don't care if y'all win any games down there. So I talk to him probably once or twice a week. You know what I'm saying? He's not that much older than me, but he's been in the game longer. So, you know what I'm saying? He knows what it is. And then I got some dudes that I don't, it is what it is. You talking to me because of the kid, this, and that. It's okay. You just take me out to get me a good steak dinner. We could talk about all the kids. You know what I'm saying?
No doubt. Well, first of all, before we get to the last part of our segment, you just reinforced the thing I try to tell everybody back then and now is that all these guys and women talk in the coaching profession. Don't get the ACC, Big Ten, MEAC, CIA, whatever, CIAA. They all talk about, man, I had that kid. I don't recruit his brother. I just want people to, I'm glad for those watching. I'm Rodney Bear, who's in the mix. He'll tell you they all talk. They all talk. They all talk. Capital ALL.
All. And don't, because what happens is the tree goes from, you might be an assistant coach, you know what I'm saying, at a P5, right? At a Power 5. So, but you're trying to get your own thing going. So you may take a job as a head in the MEAC or the CAA. So you know all them dudes up there. You know all this. Man, these coaches know each other for so long, dog. Like it is really, really, really a fraternity. Like even when in this AAU landscape, whether it's EYBL, Under Armour, Adidas, or whatever, we may, like you said, battle, go crazy, recruit the same kids. Then you might catch us all at Bar Louie together. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
You know
No. So this is the last part of our segment. This is just we're gonna do true and false, or I'm gonna give you a player to take, either this player or that player. I haven't done this in a while, so this is how much I love and respect you because I want to hear your answers.
I appreciate it. I'm with it.
Yeah, this is gonna be fun, man. Because I'll be wanting to ask these questions, but I don't have time on Twitter and Facebook to be. I ain't got no thread this long. So, ladies and gentlemen, we're gonna do the rapid fire. So, true or false? The transfer portal is a great thing for college sports. True or false? It's your opinion. Your opinion.
My
Just you're
opinion,
gonna say
true or
either
false?
true or false, and give a brief, very brief reason why.
I think it's good. I do think it's good, true. And the reason why is because it gives kids options. Coaches are able to move around. Everybody else can move around. They're children, so they should be able to move around, especially with the rule, let them move one time without penalty. I don't think they should be able to do it 2 or 3 times. I don't like that, but the portal, one transfer, you good. I do like that. Unless it's something crazy happening in life. I do.
Gotcha. Okay. All right. NIL is
Mm-hmm.
great for college sports. True or false?
Great is a hard word, but
Well, I'll help you out. True or false? The NIL has improved college sports. True or false?
improved
Yeah.
it. I don't think it improved. Dang. The reason why people gonna eat me up when I say this, but I don't think it. I'll say false. I don't think it improved it. I don't think it improved it.
Okay.
I think it enhanced it for the players. You know what I'm saying? But I don't think it improved the game. I don't think the kids like. I mean, they may be playing harder because they be get their personal. They're getting paid for name and likeness. But I don't think it. Nah, I would say false. That it made it better. You know what I'm saying? Now we're talking about making it better because of the kids are getting compensated for their name and likeness, and the universities have been getting compensated. You played at Virginia Tech. Your jersey was getting sold. You played in the 90s to early 2000s. You ain't reap a benefit of that. You know what I'm
No,
saying? So
I was on video games. I ain't
you're
get
right. You
nothing.
know what I'm saying? On
I ain't get
video
nothing.
games, dog.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that aspect, yes, but I don't think it enhanced the game and made the game better. No,
No.
I'll say false to that.
Okay. I love it. All right. Reclassifying in basketball
Mm-hmm.
has hurt more players than it's helped high school players. Reclassifying. It's hurt more players than it has helped. And before you answer,
True.
it's true or
Oh,
false, because it has helped players, in my opinion, because kids,
absolutely.
injuries, academics, issues with growth, whatever. But then,
Maturity.
true or false, it's hurt more players.
I think it's true that it's hurt more players because people think just
Speak on it.
because I'm gonna give you 2 reasons for that. Because people don't understand like when you reclassify, you're not going back and retaking the old classes. You can't be a jerk in 9th and 10th grade and then reclassify and think it's gonna that your transcript is gonna disappear. You know what I mean? So I don't think people understand that educational part of it. Like when you reclass, you still need to be good in your books from the years before because you have a window. You got to be done with certain core classes by your junior year, regardless if you
Mm-hmm.
reclassified or not. So I definitely think it's hurt more because some kids are reclassifying for what? Like, you know what I'm saying? Just for
Mm-hmm.
basketball purposes, I get it. It is, but some people don't need it. It doesn't change your trajectory most of the time. It doesn't. I've seen it change. I can give you a handful. I ain't gonna say their names, but I know like maybe 5 to 7 that I know personally that it really changed their trajectory in basketball.
Nice.
So
Okay.
yeah.
All right. You agree or disagree? The
Mm-hmm.
best Will Williams AAU team ever was the one that
Mm-hmm.
featured Allen Iverson, Tony Rutland, Damon Bako, Fazil Abraham and company. Or you disagree and tell me the team you think is the best AAU
No.
team.
I agree. I agree. Do you know who else was on that team?
Keep going.
Tariq Turner. He was a 6'6" guard from Charlottesville that played at
Mm-hmm.
St. John. Tony
Mm-hmm.
Rutland. I mean, Allen Iverson. I mean, like, what are we talking about?
Yeah.
Antoine
Damon
Smith,
Bako.
Damon Bako from the Crab. You know what I'm saying? What are we talking about? People crazy. If it is no team that's going to be as good as that one.
Fazil Abraham.
Foz, big man, it's not going to be a team better than them, dog. The only team that was close to them was J.J. Redick and John Gilchrist and them.
That's who I thought you were going to go with, the JJ Redick team
Mm-mm.
with John Kerr. Yeah,
That
okay.
team was nuts. JJ and
Yeah,
John was insane.
yeah,
Pure insanity together. You know what I'm saying? And they had
yes,
some other guys, but I mean, you could go back to Alonzo and them when me and you
yeah.
were working as ball boys at the Coliseum when the Russians was there. And people don't
I
know all
remember
that
that.
type of stuff like that. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? Like,
and I asked that because this has come up because that team that when they played the Rush, that team was, Alonzo Mourning, man. You talking about Zoe was a animal, but I
they
still go
lost to
with
the
that.
Russians one year. Then the next year they beat the Russians. Boo brought the Russians back and they beat the Russians.
Yeah,
The
they
Russians
did.
were
They
grown
did.
though. You know what I mean? So
Okay.
Chuck and Tony and them was by far. By
Yeah.
far the best team.
Look, okay, yeah. I mean, they were like must see TV. All right, now we got some questions. I would just love
Mm-hmm.
to. We almost done. Kyrie
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Irving, Kyrie Irving or Allen Iverson? Who
You
you
ain't
taking?
asking me that.
Yeah, I'm asking you. This your legacy podcast.
Oh
Who you? I
man,
mean,
Bubba,
because I got
Bubba C,
huh? You
Bubba
taking Bub?
C.
Okay, just
I'm
making
taking
sure because
Bub.
there's been a lot of momentum going around. Oh, Kyrie this, Kyrie that. Yeah, look.
Put Chuck with LeBron James. Imagine if Chuck played with LeBron James. Look at the team that he took to the finals, dog.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
come on, man. What's my man name? And I love him to death because he's a coach at Temple. I think he's still at Temple now. Aaron McKee, Eric Snow, Theo
Mm-hmm.
Ratliff. Come on, man.
No, Dikembe Mutombo. Yeah,
Come on, man.
yeah.
Chuck is crazy.
I mean, yeah. Okay. All
Chuck is
right.
crazy.
LeBron James or Michael Jordan?
And I love LeBron. Love him, but Mike.
Right.
I'm a big
Okay.
LeBron fan. Like I
I
tell,
know you are.
I know Rich Paul. You know what I'm saying? Like I really is a big LeBron fan, but Mike is Mike. Mike is still Mike, the
All right.
greatest ever.
Okay. All right. And the last one, Duke's all-time best team versus UNC's best all-time team. Now, before you see, hold on, before you use your fandom insight, we talking
Right, I
about
know.
yeah, before you get because I'm just saying if you took the best five from Duke, and this is all subjective, it could be Elton
Right,
Brand or
absolutely.
Christian Laettner, and UNC with Vince Carter, whoever that is, who do you think wins? And it's all
I'm still
hypothetical.
going. I'm still going Tar Heels.
You are
I'm gonna
Tar Heel
take.
till you die.
Yeah, I'm gonna take like Mike, Sam Perkins. You know what I'm saying? And they could go. It's so many point guards that you could choose from. You got to throw Vince up there. You know what I'm saying? Duke is
Mm-hmm.
incredible. I like Duke has a lineage that's. But I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go with Carolina because I'm gonna go with them old dudes. I'm gonna bring them old dudes. Like people don't understand how good Sam Perkins and guys like that was, and James Worthy. You know what I'm saying? Back then, they were the old heads for Mike. They were Mike old heads. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah,
I would go Mike. I would go UNC for sure because he's the
yeah,
greatest ever. You know what I'm
yeah.
saying?
Yeah, it's so crazy. I know I'm getting old, and I'm not that old man that hates on the new generation at all because I work
Mm-mm.
with them. But I will
Right.
say, man, it never gets old when I look back at Jordan highlights when I think about like what he did during his time, man.
No,
It's unbelievable. Like, and I love LeBron. I'm one of those few guys our age that loves LeBron. Like, I
I
love
love
watching
it.
LeBron play, man. Like, people don't realize how much I love hoops, man. I love watching LeBron play, man. But
Mm-hmm.
Jordan, man, this guy created him to dominate. What Chuck call him? Chuck called him Black Jesus.
Black Jesus. Dog, I'm wearing Jordans now at 45, dog. Like, what are we talking about? You know what I'm saying?
No
I buy
doubt.
OG Jordans right now, like OG colorways right now, still to this day. You know
Yeah,
what I'm saying? I got dudes that name their kids Jordan. You
yeah,
know what I'm saying?
yeah,
Like people name their kids Jordan because of Michael Jordan. All the kids
yeah,
wear number 3 because of Chuck.
yeah,
And Chuck is
yeah.
from my
Oh,
town.
it's so funny you said that, man. I was my son. Obviously, he's Steph Curry, Kyrie, and my wife and I were explaining to him. His mom and I would tell. My wife and I were telling him about how all the guys you admire were influenced by Chuck, by Allen Iverson.
All of them.
Chris Paul, Steph Curry, even Giannis said Allen Iverson. All of them, man. John Morant, they all
Mm-hmm.
reference him. And then I say I took it a step further because he's younger than us. And I say, your quarterback, Lamar, Michael Vick is his icon.
Everybody
So
wanted to wear number 7 because of Vic.
come on, man. I said, your heroes look up to my brothers, my peers. You know what I'm saying? So
Yes.
he always make a face like that Kevin Hart meme, like, all right, bro. Like
Right. Oh no, I see because I watch y'all stuff on social media. I know he's a big jokester. I
yeah,
see it
yeah,
all
he
the time.
is.
I was
He
watching one of
is.
your joints. I don't know if it was a TikTok, and I think somebody asked like, who was gonna mess the trip up.
Oh, like my oldest daughter, City, who's gonna ruin the family vacation.
Yo,
Yeah,
I was
man.
in tears, dog. When I say in tears, I
Yeah.
was like, yo, there's like Isaiah's gonna make dad mad eventually. I know he
Yeah, he
is.
did, and he did. He did. And T minus, as they say, man, he was going. But yo, my guy, man, I'm gonna tell you this, man, before we wrap up.
Mm-hmm.
I'm so proud of you, man. This has been a great, great show. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
it's so funny. I've known you pretty much all my life, most of my life, but I still love
Absolutely.
doing this. I'm gonna tell you, for everybody watching when this runs and sees this, I'm proud of you. I'm so proud
No, I
of you, man. With
appreciate it.
that being said, you named some great players, so many people you helped, man. What is one thing you wish you regret, or we all got little regrets that
Yeah.
you done better, like you learn from, like what if you have learned from the game of basketball coaching, as far as, like, what, Vic, when I got into it, I regret doing this, but
Mm-hmm.
now I've learned that I always have to do this no matter when I and where I coach.
Mm-hmm.
What is
Mm-hmm.
that?
Well, it's probably two folds to it. One of my first regrets is getting into it so late, because like the reach that I have and stuff like that with the kids, and the way they kind of like kind of react to me, and kind of feel at home with me, and being able to talk to me about different things, that makes me feel like, dang, dog, I should have been doing this a long time ago. Like,
Yep.
this was my calling, you know what I'm saying, a long time ago, that I probably should have got into it earlier. And then like you know, coaching, when you first start coaching, you got to really, like, I learned this from my older coach too. You know what I'm saying? You got to kind of stick to your guns and what you want to do, and like stick to what you believe in. You know what I'm saying? I've swayed at times because of a players like talent, you know what I'm saying, and stuff like that. And it's hard in today's game, the talent pool and different things. So one of the main things that I want to do, and I'm going to make sure I start doing, I kind of want to keep like my, you know what I'm saying, make sure that I keep everything, you know what I'm saying, like my personal like beliefs and stuff like that. Keep that intact, and don't let, like, talent or different things kind of sway me to do other things. Like, I want to kind of be, it's kind of crazy to say it, but kind of try to be as purist as possible with it. Try to coach. And everybody doesn't get coached the same way. You know what I'm saying? Like, some kids' leashes are longer. You know what I'm saying? I had a coach I was at a clinic, and the coach was like, yo, you want to take as much jump shots as Jimbo? You need to get in the gym and shoot as good as Jimbo. You know what I'm saying? You
Mm-hmm.
know what I'm saying? So it's not basketball, football, baseball. It's not equal opportunity. It's just not. You know what I'm saying? So I want to make sure that I'm able to kind of stay pure to it, and kind of like treat as much as possible, treat them all the same, coach them the same, help them the same, as long as they're like accepting it and stuff like that. I just want to make sure I'm able to do that. And the only other regret that I had was not, you know what I'm saying, people saw it in me before I saw it. You know what I'm saying? Being able to coach and help. You know what I'm saying? So it might have took my career to a different place, or this way, you know what I'm saying? I hate to start talking churchy and stuff, but this might have
Oh,
been where God wanted me to be. You know what I'm saying?
yep.
Like, maybe if I would have got to started coaching at 25, 26, no telling where my career would be at with it. But he might have held me down and held me out of it, you know what I'm saying, to get me to start doing that at a different time in my life, to help me ground myself personally, to take me from a place that I was at, and then to keep me in a place that I'm at now, you know what I'm saying, being able to help kids a little bit more, talk to them a little bit more, don't give them, you know what I'm saying, the Vick story. Because everybody ain't gonna have a Vick story. Everybody ain't gonna play for legendary Broward, legendary Mike Smith, play for the Crab, do this,
Yep.
go to Virginia
Yep.
Tech, and do all that. Everybody ain't gonna be.
Yep.
It's gonna be more. It's probably gonna be more Rodney Berries than it is Dwight Vicks. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like,
No, that's real talk. That's a bar. That's true.
you know
That's
what I'm saying?
real.
So I kind of, that's the only other thing that I had was that, like, getting involved into it earlier. Maybe that could have changed the trajectory of my career with it. But I'm happy. You know what I'm saying? I'm good. I'm still doing other things. I'm still helping. I got connections in the NBA. I got connections here. You know what I'm saying? So when things open up for me, opportunity wise, I'll be able to accept it. I'm back in college. I'm about to graduate in May. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Congratulations, man.
nah, I appreciate it, dog. Like, so it's
Yes,
different
sir.
things that, you know what I'm saying, that I didn't do, you know what I'm saying, that I wish I would have did. And then, like I said, that part of my story, I tell my kids all the time, like, that, you know what I'm saying, I tell them that because that's the most, I hate to say it, but it's realer than a lot of, it wasn't that many D1s. It was D1 athletes on your team that was good enough to play in college, but it wasn't that many that did it.
No,
You know what I'm
no,
saying? You know what I'm saying? So I
no.
think my story and the way, it went about, you know what I'm saying, and then me still get to what I want to do to help kids and still coaching and stuff like that. I think it's a beautiful thing the way it's going for me. So those are the only two regrets I have. I want to stay pure and try to coach everybody the same way, make sure I'm trying to do it and get better. You know what I'm saying? Food with the coaches. And then the only small regret that I have is, like I said, it might have not have been my calling to do it when I was 25. You know what I'm saying? But if I would, one regret in coaching would have been I would have started a lot earlier. I might have did something different when I went to college, like major wise. You know what I'm saying? Like that's the stuff I talk to kids about, dog. My nephews, my guys that I coach that I really love. I love them all, but guys that I know, I'm like, dog, like you are. It's crazy to sound like this, but we got to be more direct and more real with the kids, dog. Like you are an athlete, right? You know what I'm saying? You're not. Some of them are great students. Some of them are not. We're just being funky with it. You know?
Yeah.
So you are an athlete. You have to be a student athlete first, but you can use your athleticism for the rest of your life if you play it right. You know what I'm saying? Like if you play it right, you can use it for the rest of your life, dog. Like I know kids that's about to be, coaches in college right now, dog, that I actually coached. I told a boy, I just told you about Chase. I just told Chase the other day, like, dog, go ahead, get your thing together under Bennett, do your thing. I'm about to graduate college. I come be an assistant for you, help you recruit. You know what I'm saying? It's just things like that. I think my story, you know what I'm saying, it's important. It's a little different than the norm when you talk about sports and you talk about coaches and things of that nature. But I think it's important because, like I said, it's more of me than it is of you. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah, it is.
it's more guys
It is.
that went my route than it is your route. So it's just, the only regret is just to getting into it early because I love it, dog. Like, it's such a blessing seeing these dudes do that. You
Oh,
you
you're
work you
doing a
work
great
with
job.
kids.
Yeah, I
You work
love it.
with kids, dog. I get
I
text
love it.
messages, dog, or DMs. They DM more than they text, like they don't got your
I know.
phone number, which is
I
weird.
know.
But I get a DM, you know what I'm saying, from a kid. I got a DM from a kid at UNC Asheville. You know what I'm saying? He was telling me, like, dog, you was telling me all this when I was in the ninth grade, and it's still the same thing. I was like, I told you I never lied to you. You know what I'm saying? Like, I got another kid that's on a mid-major school, Fairfield. Out of all the tons of kids that I have, different places, I got a kid at Fairfield that texted me not too long ago. This long text, DM me this long message about when he was with me, my other coach, my man, Coach Mack, and it was some of the best times of his life. You know what I'm saying? And and all that type of stuff like that. That joint is like super rewarding. That's real. Like I think people say coaches say that type of stuff like it's cliche, but that is uber real. You know what I'm saying? Like
Nah,
I
it's
know you
real.
get
I've
it because
seen
you work in the outside of sports, you work in the community, period.
I work mental health. I mean, I'm in my Vicktory Life office
Right.
right now. I mean, I had 5 sessions a day, 3 family sessions, 1 individual. I do therapeutic mentoring, counseling, group counseling, family therapy, couples counseling. It's funny, Rodney. I'm living my passion and purpose. I knew I was going to have a chance to play professional, and
Mm-hmm.
I got there. I got cut. I played collegiately, but I'm living my dream now.
Yeah.
And the reason why I created this for those watching to check out Rodney, the reason why the Vicktory Life movement is so important to me because I want to highlight people like him, cancer survivors, superintendents, firefighters, teachers,
Mm-hmm.
principals, because they're more of us than it is the LeBron James and Michael Vicks. They are great and
Mm-hmm.
iconic, and we're all fans. But Rodney, you're the hero that these kids are looking at.
No,
You
I
are the
appreciate that for sure.
you are because Mark Williams and all that, you're touching lives, and in that gym when no one's there, you got 11 kids running around, and
Mm-hmm.
you're trying to get them to buy in, but you're keeping them away from trouble. And then they go on and do the things like your man at UVA. So that's
Mm-hmm.
why I started this, man. I'm living my passion and my purpose. And
Mm-hmm.
with that being said, man, I am so proud of you. Again, I'm gonna keep saying it.
Nah,
I'm
I
gonna keep
appreciate it, yo.
encouraging you. I'm gonna keep
Mm-hmm.
supporting you. Thank you for jumping on. Shout out to you
Mm-hmm.
and the whole Williams crew.
My
Keep
man.
changing lives. I'll see
When I
you when I
bring my
come
drink
home.
back, when I bring the Coach B back thing, I'm gonna bring you on because you was a hooper too. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? You're a big guy, but they don't know.
I
They
was
don't know
down
you was
there
a hooper.
giving the Phil Oakleys. I was talking to my man JJ Galbraith. I said, man, he said, you
Yes,
broke Boosie's wrist.
JJ.
I said, JJ, he tried to dunk on me, so I flipped him.
Right. We
In
need I
practice,
got a big boy to say.
I said, man, nah, but yo, you and Damon Bako, thank you, man. Y'all, my son was like, Dad, you was just a football player. I said, no, man, I've
No.
evolved into this. I played, I can shoot the three. Ask Coach
Right.
James Bashonda. If you listen in the
Yes.
comments when this goes live, say, yo, Vic can shoot the Tracy. I used to call it the Tracy. I used to shoot the three.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, man,
And
no,
you was
Rodney,
light on
I
your
appreciate
puppies. Your
it.
son don't know you was like
I was quick with it, man. I was quick, yo. Lateral, lateral, lateral. The MC Hammer
Yes,
typewriter, yo. Nah, but thank you for
absolutely,
the
dog.
flowers. But more importantly, thank you for all you do, man. Before I sign off, I just want to continuously say
Yeah.
Thank you for everybody watching. On behalf of Boo Wims and the EYBL that Rodney's a part of, Made Hoops, man, thank you for joining us and support this brother, support the kids,
Yes.
support our youth. If you got fundraising, please, Rodney, you guys support him. And for those watching, please, I have other great guests like this. So subscribe to our channel. The Vicktory Life Movement is all about our youth, our families, and our community. And like I say every episode, man, make sure whatever you do, no matter where you go, make sure you have a positive impact and you leave a great legacy. All right. Salute. That's Vicktory Life. I
My
appreciate
man.
you.
Love
Yes,
you,
sir.
Vic.
Love you too, my guy.